modulator and demodulator by Preeta ma'am, and I hope all of you have watched it. So some of you have already contacted me saying there were some issues related to Edpuzzle integration in Canvas, right? So I've considered those requests, right? So those who have not completed it, I request everyone to complete it, right? And today's discussion will be based on the previous video which I've posted, and I'll be using um, Multisim Live to demonstrate our ASK circuit. I hope I'm audible to everyone, those who have joined late. And I request everyone to pin the screen from which I'm presenting to your window so that uh, you can see the circuit when I'm explaining. So in the recorded video, the working of the circuit and other aspects related to communication were explained in detail. So we will not be taking up all those aspects today. Directly, we'll start with the simulation of the experiment, right? So here, as I told, we are using Multisim Live, and it's a free version which we are using, so it has some limitations. One of the limitations is it can accommodate only 25 components, but luckily the circuit which we have, it has way less than 25 components, so it won't be a problem for us. And one more issue is this free account, it does not have a square wave generator. It does not have a square wave generator. So instead of square wave generator, I have just used a comparator, right? And to what its non-inverting input, I have given a sinusoid of the desired frequency. For us, the message signal which was required was 100 hertz and 6-volt peak-to-peak signal, right? Like as per your lab manual or circuit, it was 100 hertz or 6-volt peak-to-peak signal. So to get 100 hertz, I have used a voltage source, sinusoidal voltage source, right, with 100 hertz, and the amplitude, it doesn't matter. It can keep any amplitude, right? And I've given it to a non-inverting terminal of an op-amp, right? And the inverting terminal, it is grounded, if you can see, right? And you can interrupt me if my voice is not clear or if you are not able to see the screen, right? The first part is in like this much, but can you see the mouse pointer? Like I'm using a mouse pointer to explain, right? I hope you all can see the mouse pointer, right? Yeah. So this part is just to generate a square wave. So it's a comparator with a sine voltage to given to non-inverting terminal, and zero given to what inverting terminal. And like now I'm going to get a 6-volt peak signal. If I want 6-volt peak to peak, right, I should use 3-volt and 3-volt as plus VCC and minus VEE, right? Now instead of that, I'm going to generate a 6-volt peak signal, that is 12-volt peak to peak signal, right? So maybe first we'll try and observe the square wave which we are going to use as a message, right? So for that, I have to use a voltage probe and I have to place it here. So this is our message. So this is actually not a part of our circuit. Because of the limitation of Multisim Live, we have used this, right? So first we'll observe what is the message signal. So I am just simulating it, and you see the graph. So this is our message signal. So this is a square wave. I've considered 6-volt peak signal. So as per your circuit diagram, it is 3-volt peak. So if you want to change that, what you should do is you should change the plus VCC and minus VE of that comparator op-amp, right? And why we have considered this square wave? Actually, ASK is a binary modulation scheme, right? But we have considered a square wave as message. Maybe what was the reason? Can anyone tell? What is the reason for considering a square wave as message?
It is digital communication.
Yeah, it is digital communication, right? But what is actually what implied by the square wave? So it simply means
Only high and low.
It's a
yes,
clock signal.
it's a clock signal. Fine. So actually, what we needed is we needed some bit stream, and we had to represent it as some electrical pulse, right? As in fact, we wanted the actual input we wanted was bit sequences ones and zeros, and we were supposed to represent it as binary, like polar non-return to zero format, right? But we, as we don't have any provision to generate that, what we are using is we are using a square wave. Here you can assume a positive pulse corresponds to 1 and negative pulse corresponds to 0. So it's ones and zeros. You can assume it as ones and zeros, right? That is why we are using this square wave. And before I move ahead, I assume when I asked last time, you all have told you have used multisim live, so that's why I'm not showing how to make connections in multisim live, right? If you want me to do that, please unmute yourself and tell. I can tell you how to select components and how to do wiring, right? But as I believe you have already used multisim live and you're comfortable with that, I'm straight away like explaining the circuit, right? So I hope I can go ahead with the discussion, or should I stop and show you how to rig up the circuit? If anyone can tell. Yeah, Divij is there. Divij is there online.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Divij, have you used multisim live before? You have used it, right?
I have used multisim, sir. Multisim live. This is the first time.
Okay, so do you want me to show how to like rig up a circuit in multisim live?
I don't think so. I think
It's
it's
not.
visible. We can use the side. This
Yeah,
thing.
it's just
Yeah.
actually about drag and drop and the wiring. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm not discussing that. We'll straight away start with a circuit. It would be okay, right?
Yeah, it's fine, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So I'm taking Divij's opinion as a final. So we'll. So the first part is nothing but what, instead of square wave source, we are using a comparator with sinusoid at non-inverting input and the reference given to inverting input as 0. So do you have any doubt with respect to the working of this part? If anyone has any doubt with respect to the square wave generator.
So I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, please.
You have given you have given a same ground for the DC signal and the AC source, right? Is that will that work in real life?
Like here we are using only AC actually in this case. Right.
No, like you have given the negative of the DC supply, you have given it to the same thing as the AC source, right? So will that work in real life?
Yeah, okay. In real life also, suppose, okay, I think your question is this, so I'll try to give an answer. Right. Suppose maybe in digital electronics lab, you are using a digital kit. Along with that, you are using a like say a signal generator. Suppose in for some experiment, suppose you are using, right. Then the ground or reference should be common. Otherwise, what will happen is if you are using different types of systems, say it is digital, analog, or whatever, right, and we are integrating it together to get what a single circuit or single system, right? So in all those things, the reference should be common. Otherwise, like maybe for if one circuit, right, it will have a different zero reference compared to the other, it will lead to some error. That is one aspect. And in this Yeah, so I think it gives answer to your question.
Like I was wondering about that. That is an AC source, right? So AC and DC, we are supposed to give separate grounds, right? For AC ground is separate and DC ground should be separate.
Like AC and DC, so separate. Okay, you mean to say? Okay, one second. You mean to say for in this, if you see, there is only actually what one ground, right?
Okay.
But in multisim, if you see actually what you have some that triangular thing, that is DC ground. But the idea is actually whatever is referred by ground, it is a reference point, right? If I mention a voltage, a node voltage, that is with respect to voltage of the ground, right? Whatever. So this maybe you can set plus 5 volt as a reference, that as ground, so that any other voltage will be like what potential difference will be expressed in terms of with reference to that point. So in my opinion, right, so this all these common points, it should be same. And in multisim or say in any other spice simulation, right, all grounds will be actually what common. If I have used, even though I have used 1 2 3 4 different grounds, all are actually what common point. In lab also, right, in lab also, while you're implementing the circuit, you'll be doing the modulator part, and then you'll be doing the demodulator part, right? But for both demodulator and modulator part, the reference point should be same. The common point should be connected to each other. That should be same. Otherwise, you'll end up in getting a error, right? So I think that clears your doubt. If you still have doubt, maybe you can actually what direct message me later, right? I think we'll go forward with the discussion, right? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So now we have square wave, that is our message signal. That is nothing but what? Bit sequences 1 and 0 represented as polar non-return to 0 form, right? So now this is our modulator part. Modulator, ASK modulator or on-off shifting keying modulator, it is very simple, right? It has essentially one transistor, right, and only 2 resistors. This is only one transistor is there, actually the heart of this, right? So and the working is already explained, right? So as it is a PNP transistor, whenever we have a positive voltage here, right, it will be off, and whenever we have a negative half cycle here, this transistor will be on, right? So whenever this transistor is on, you can see this will be actually what like connected to ground. So when in saturation, you can assume it as actually what connected to ground, and no carrier will be, so carrier is here, no carrier will be available here at the collector. But whenever it is off, what will happen? The a carrier pulse of duration of that bit will be available at the output, right? So that is how the modulation happens. I think that was very well explained in the video which was shared. So now we'll observe the modulated output, right? So for each, we have to use a probe, right? So yeah, so yeah, so modulator output. So now we'll observe the modulated output. The one in blue, that will be the modulated output. You can see whenever it is positive, that is whenever it is positive, our diode is transistors off. At that time, we are getting the RF pulse, and this will be transmitted. And whenever it is negative, our transistors on. At that time, we are getting no pulse, it is off. So that is its on off keying, right? So in order to make sure whenever it is positive, we are getting output, we have used a PNP transistor. You can just think what will happen instead of NPN transistor, PNP transistor. You can just assume what would have happened if we have used NPN transistor instead, right? So that is the modulator part, right? And working, right? It is already explained in the video, right? So and about this. Yeah, so this is any doubt? Clear? And one more limitation with this multi-sim live was actually we don't have different components from different vendors or with different specifications. We have only one PNP transistor and one type of diode. Right, we don't have different types of diodes. Maybe the internal configuration we can actually change a bit. Right. So yeah. So that's it. So that's the modulated output. So it is on off keying. So whenever it is high, an RF pulse is transmitted, right? And whenever it is zero, no pulse is transmitted. That is why it is called on off keying or amplitude shift keying, right? So now shall we move ahead and discuss about the demodulator part? Yeah, Brynel is there online. Yeah, Brynel is there online. I want Brynel to unmute yourself and say hi to everyone. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah, Brynel, any doubt so far?
No, sir. I had network issue actually, sir. So your voice is breaking.
Is it? Okay, maybe.
Not your problem.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, I'll make this recording available later. Right, yeah. So now I think we'll continue. So this ASK modulator, right? So we will be using an envelope detector followed by a comparator to demodulate, as discussed in that video, right? So an envelope detector is essentially a diode followed by an RC section, right? A diode followed by an RC section, right? And can anyone tell me how an envelope detector works? Can anyone help me with an envelope detectors working? Yes, Shodhana. Shodhana, please unmute yourself and could you please explain me how this envelope detector works? Okay, Macwin. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, fine. So, whenever I am calling out your name, please do unmute yourself. And if you have any audio issues, please do type it in chat window. Otherwise, right, yeah, Macwin has unmuted.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Macwin, could you please explain how this envelope detector works?
Envelope detector.
Yeah, like you can see the circuit. Right. So envelope detector, as I told, it's nothing but what? It's a diode followed by a RC section. Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how it works?
It's like charging and discharging operations, sir.
Yes, it's charging and discharging operation, of course. Right. So yeah, so you can see this is the ASK modulated output, right? So we have a carrier as such during 1 bit duration. That is when the bit is 1, and we don't have any signal when the bit is 0. So when you pass it to a diode, what will happen? When you pass the signal to a diode, what will happen?
It rectifies the signal, sir.
Yeah, it will allow only positive half cycles, right? So of the carrier, only positive half cycles will be allowed, right?
Yes, sir.
And when we have an RC section here, what will happen?
RC
And
section.
so basically what happens is during this, right, whenever we have positive half cycle, this capacitor will start charging, right?
Sir. Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, then whenever there is no signal, that is during negative half cycle, diode will be reverse biased, right? And at that time, capacitor will discharge. So now I want, right, maybe you can, I want you to tell me what is the path through which capacitor will charge and what is the path through which capacitor will discharge. Of course, the capacitor will charge through the diode and the capacitor, right? This
Yes, sir.
resistor R3 is involved in that charging of capacitor? No, right? And while this diode is reverse biased, what will happen? The capacitor will discharge through this resistor, right? So, and can anyone tell me how should I design this RC section? Based on what I should design this RC section? Maybe all of you can type it in chat window, right? How to design this RC section, right? It acts as a low pass filter. Okay, fine. Yes. Based on frequency of modulated wave. Yes. Frequency and discharge constant. Yes. Okay. Sagar has told frequency and discharge constant. Exactly. Right. Based on the time constant. Yes. Right. So now, yeah. So maybe what we'll do is we'll just try and see the output, right, of this say envelope detector, and then we'll take forward this discussion. For that, I'm just using a probe and I'm keeping it here. So I have another question, right? Is there any provision for me to see only this rectified output here? Can I see only the rectified output here, or if it is in lab, can I see the rectified output alone? Is it possible? Can anyone unmute yourself and tell? I want to see, Sudeep was telling yes. So I want to see what will happen to the signal once it just crosses the diode. I don't want it to be applied to this filter. So right after the diode, just before it reaches the filter, can I see that? Sudeep, can you please unmute yourself and tell what should I do to see that?
Sir, we just need to connect the probe next to the diode.
Next to the diode? Is it? Will it work? I don't think so. Maybe we'll try that, right? I'll connect one more probe. I'll take one more probe and I'll connect right after the diode. Sudeep?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now this violet color, it should be rectified output, and this one should be filtered output, right? Blue one. Right. That's what you are going to say, right, Sudeep?
Yes,
Shall I
sir.
simulate it?
Yeah.
But I can't see. It's just one. This blue and violet both are merged, right? So what is the reason? Is it because it's multi-sim? If it was in actually what, if we were implementing it in real hardware, we could have observed it. What is it? What is the answer? Why it didn't happen? Now I've connected two probes, and both those probes are giving same signal. Right. It is actually the filtered output. What I'm getting after rectifier, after the filter, it's actually we can see the charging and discharging. The charging, discharging, we can see. Right. Only one we are getting, even though I've connected it here and here. Right. What may be the reason? Can anyone tell?
Both are the same point.
Both are the same.
violet one and the dark blue one are the same point, same
Yes,
nodes.
both are same point. It's just a connecting wire. Actually, this is short, right? So these are same point. So we cannot actually observe the rectified output alone. If you have to observe the rectified output alone, we'll have to remove this R and C, right? Then we can observe, but it's okay, right? So now what I'll do is I'll just use only one. Which one should I retain? Violet one or blue one?
It doesn't matter. Both
Yeah,
are
okay. Both are same. Yeah. So I have retained one. I have removed the other one. So you can see here, right? All of you can see this, right? So whenever during the positive half cycle, whenever the diode is in forward bias, right? This capacitor is charging, right? And whenever it will be in reverse bias, the capacitor is slowly discharging, again charging, discharging, right? So this you have already learned in your smaller classes itself, right? So that's the envelope detector, but that doesn't quite give us the demodulated output. So now what we need is the demodulated output it should look like our message signal, right? It should look like our message signal, right? If it is a 1, I should get a greater than 0, right? If it is a 0, I should get less than 0. So for instance, in any digital modulation system, at the receiving end, we will have, if it is a binary system, right, we'll have a threshold set, right? At the detector, there will be a threshold set. That threshold will be 0, right? If the received signal at the sampling instance, for instance, we can assume at the receiving end, right, we will sample the received signal exactly at the midpoint of bit duration, right? Maybe we'll take a sample of the signal exactly at the midpoint of bit duration. At that time, if the value is greater than 0, the detector will decide 1 was transmitted, or else it will decide a 0 was transmitted, right? So we should convert this envelope detector output into some form, into a square wave, right? So that's what we have to do. For that, we'll be using a comparator, right? So before that, I'll just zoom it in and show, right? We'll just analyze this envelope detector output, right? Right, yeah, so now you can see this envelope detector output. It spans only actually about to some, say, less than 400 millivolt or so. So we'll see from now I'm going to limit the axis from minus 500 millivolt to plus 500 millivolt, or minus 1 volt to plus 1 volt, right? We do have provision here, right? Now I'm going to limit the axis from minus 1 to plus 1, right? So you can see the envelope detector output clearly now, right? So, and how can we convert this into a square waveform? How can we do that? Any suggestion? So for that, of course, we are using the comparator, right? So just like how we have used a comparator to convert a sinusoid into a square, right? Can we use a comparator to convert this into a square wave? Can anyone suggest me how it can be done? Or please? Yeah, Carlton has told comparator. Yeah, Carlton, can you please tell me if I'm using a comparator, I should give something to the non-inverting input, something to inverting input. Yeah, Carlton. Yeah, tell me, Carlton.
The reference voltage.
Reference voltage. Now, what should be the reference voltage? So from this, what should be the reference voltage? I should set the reference voltage, right? Like, should I set the reference voltage around 500 millivolt, or should I set it below 0, or it should be between like say 0 and this? At what level should I set the reference voltage?
Above the.
Like I'll give you three options, right? The reference voltage should be above 500 millivolt, right? It should be between 250 millivolt and 500 millivolt. So in this, can you see these like values here? Maybe if you can't see, I'll just show. Can you see my like mouse pointer here?
Yes, yes.
This is 0 level, and this is 250 millivolt level, and this is 500 millivolt level, right? So
Yes,
now
yes.
I'll give three options. This option is not only for Carlton, it's for everyone. You can type in your answer in chat window. Right.
250, yes. No,
250. If it is 250, the reference will be like this. So then you can see, like say we are giving this signal to non-inverting terminal, right? We are giving, as per this circuit diagram, we are giving the envelope detector output to non-inverting terminal, right? And reference voltage to inverting terminal, right? So how does a comparator work? How does a comparator work? Whenever the voltage of non-inverting terminal is greater than inverting terminal, it will give you a plus VSAT, right?
yes, sir.
And whenever the voltage of inverting terminal is greater than non-inverting, it will give you a minus VSAT. Suppose we are keeping the reference in between this, you can see actually what the voltage will swing, right?
Yes.
Right. So we don't want that to happen. Maybe we should keep the reference somewhere here, that is below this, right? Below, say it's this bottommost point is 190 millivolt, right? 182 millivolt, right? So if I keep the reference somewhere here, right? If I keep the reference somewhere here, what will happen? Only at this point, right? At this point, the voltage will like in non-inverting terminal voltage will go below the inverting terminal voltage, right? Till then, the non-inverting terminal voltage will be higher, so we'll get a plus, and after this we'll get a minus VSAT, right? Is it clear?
Correct, sir.
Right. So maybe what we can do is, for that, I'll just, what is the reference voltage? I'll just, maybe the reference voltage also we'll try and observe, right? So I'm keeping a probe here so that we can observe the reference voltage as well. So this is a reference voltage, right? How we have given a reference voltage? I've given a DC source to a potentiometer, right? DC source to a potentiometer, maybe right, and we are from the variable end of the potentiometer, we are giving the reference voltage so that we can tune in. So when you are doing this practically, right, you will find difficulties in this actually, in setting up the potentiometer value, or in setting up this R value, right? So I just asked you how to design this, and some have given some answer. What I've done is I've included some question in today's actually what quiz. Only 5 questions are there. So those questions will help, will address some of the most common mistakes which students make while conducting this experiment in lab, right? So designing this RC part and setting up this, setting this R value, and also like setting a reference using this potentiometer, it will give you, you have to be very careful while doing that in lab also, right? So now what I'll do is I'll just simulate it, right? So that we can see the reference level, what it is, right? Now I've already I've already actually adjusted the reference level to this, right? So that now what will happen? So now can we just reiterate, right? So this is given, this signal, that is envelope detector signal, is given to the positive input or non-inverting input, and this is what is given to an inverting input. So now what will happen? What will be the output? What will be the output? Yeah, can anyone like pitch in and tell what will be the output? What will happen? Ligina is telling a pulse. Ligina, if you can unmute and explain, that would be great. Right. So I want you to tell what will happen when this non-inverting is greater than inverting, and what will happen when inverting is greater than non-inverting. Yes. Shashank is telling message signal. Yeah, if anyone can unmute and tell, that would be great. Okay, fine. Like if no volunteers, I'll only like, yeah. So what happens is you can see from this point to this point, right, in time, right, this non-inverting input is greater than inverting input. So we will get a plus VSAT. And from this point till this point, non-inverting is less than inverting, so we'll get a minus VSAT. So what we should do is we should tune this charging and discharging time, right? That is this not charging, like this discharge time, that is this R3, as well as this potentiometer value, to get an output which is actually what which has same which is exactly same as that of the message. Right, and we are least bothered about the output, right? The plus VSAT and minus VSAT. So in this case, it will be say plus 15 to minus 15, right? So will it create any problem to the detector? Yeah. Will it create any problem to the detector? If you can type in. Right. Whether my question is clear? So, or else maybe we'll try and see the output. After that, I'll ask this question again. Right. So, to see the output, what I should do is I should actually connect a probe here. Right. So that gray one will be the output, and I will just now it's. I just wanted to show you the level at which we are setting reference and the envelope detector output. Right. So that's why I have zoomed it in. Now I'll just zoom it out. Right. We'll see from minus 16 to say plus 16. Right. So that we can see the entire like all the signals. Right. See all the signals. So here this is our input. Now if I simulate in gray color, we can see the output, right? So you can see the output here, right? You can see the output here. It's not exactly like matching in time with the input. There is slight timing errors. Like, can anyone tell me what is it due to? Why this timing error? Why do we have this timing error? Can anyone tell? It's because of the diode. Sagar is telling it's because of the diode. Right. Any other answer? Any other answer? Capacitor discharge. Yeah, it's like maybe you might have noticed when we had zoomed it in. Maybe I'll zoom it again. Now that you have seen this is a demodulated output, and of course we do have some timing error. Right now we need to find why do we have this timing error. Of course, we can eliminate this timing error by appropriately selecting this filter and this threshold level, right? Of course you can do that. So that is why in this RC filter, instead of a fixed resistance, we'll be using a decade resistance box, and you can actually change those values and obtain the obtain this time synchronization, right. So yeah, maybe once again we'll zoom it in and see, right, maybe from -1 to +1, right. Then I just want you people to give me answer, right. So right, yeah, Right. So now can anyone tell me, okay, maybe I'll show the second wave, right? Second wave. So this one, green one, these are the edges of my message signal, and this ash color one, is it visible to everyone, this demodulated output signal? Right, this ash color one is that of demodulated output. Can you see when the transition is happening? We can see here one edge of the demodulated output is here. That is the point at which the non-inverting terminal voltage is exceeding the inverting terminal voltage. At that time, the output voltage swings to plus VSAT, right? And the trailing edge comes here at this point. What is the peculiarity of that point? Can anyone tell me what is the peculiarity of that point at which we have trailing edge of demodulated output? Yeah, at that point, exactly the non-inverting voltage is falling below the reference or the inverting voltage. At that, during that period, we'll get a negative VSAT, right? So by adjusting this, say, discharging and charging time, and also by adjusting this reference level, we can like bring in actually what maximum synchronization. That's why in lab while you are doing, or else I request everyone to try it on your own, right? And while doing that, you just like adjust these potentiometer values and try to find maximum say time synchronization between input and demodulated output, right? So that's why that is the reason, right? Maybe the choice of R and C, and also the reference level what we have taken. So now shall we just try and change the reference level a bit? Right, maybe the reference level, if I increase, what will happen? Shall we try and see that? Right. So before that, again, I'll just zoom it out. Right. So minus 16 to plus 16. Right. So then I'll just run it. Right. So at this point, if you do you have any a doubt? Right. So I would like to stop here. Right. Do you have any doubt so far? Anybody is having any doubt? Right. If you have any queries, please do post it in chat window, or else you can unmute yourself and ask. Right. I think I should call out some names. Right. So now Sohan, is there Sohan? Paul? Sohan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sohan, any doubt so far? Or if you have to add any insights, maybe if you think it can be explained in a better way.
No, sir, it is clear.
Right, no doubt. Right, yeah, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. So now what we'll do is we'll just change this reference level and see what happens. And after that, we'll change this RC value. Now we have observed the output, right? Now I'll disturb this reference level, right? So now you can see this reference is almost 179 millivolt, right? If I'm increasing it, right? If I'm increasing it, I'll just, now it is almost 1.02 volt. I'll just stop and run the simulation again. Okay, I have some issue with my connection. One second, please excuse me. Right, so I'll just simulate it again. Now what I've done is I've changed this reference value. Right, I'll simulate it again. Yeah, please excuse me. My multisim live was giving me some trouble. I can't see the graph now. It was visible till now, but it's okay. Right. So now if I change this, what will happen? Like it's yeah. Please excuse me. Right. I'll just close this and reopen the circuit. Right. Like meanwhile, if you have any doubts, right, please feel free to ask. Am I audible to everyone? Yeah. So okay, fine. Yeah. So now I'll like simulate it again. No, actually it gives me some trouble. Right, maybe like it's okay as we have seen this. I request everyone to once again simulate it. Right, simulate it on your own. Even you can actually do it using your mobile phone. Right, or someone want to simulate it in Simscape or any other actually simulation tools, ECED or anything. Right, you can do that. Right, and please play around by varying this references and this capacitor values and all those things, and observe what happens. Right. So now, like as it gives me some trouble, I am not able to show the output. So far, everything have been fine. Right. Yeah, fine. So maybe we'll stop this simulation part here, right? And now I would like to hear from you if you have any queries or if you have any any insights to add. Please feel free to quiz.
So will you share the circuit?
Yeah, I can share the circuit. I can share the circuit. What I'll do is in like I'll share a Google form to collect your, or else I'll share the circuit with any one of you. Right, you can share it with others. Right, that would be fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'll share it. I'll share the circuit, right? Or else you can only rig it up, not a problem, right? And even you can see I have made some modifications a bit, there is a reason. Maybe if you play around with this, you will be able to find it out, right? And in fact, rather than actually what rigging it up in practice and like measuring the node voltage and all those aspects, playing with multisim live will give you actually more insight. It gives you liberty to what make mistakes and learn. So I request everyone to simulate this, and I hope all are maintaining an observation book, right? So in that, you should at least have written the circuit diagram, right? And like the waveforms, right? And also I want you people to maintain an online like say Google Doc in which you'll simulate the circuit and paste the circuit diagram and the screenshots of waveforms, right? I will ask you to share that. Like next week, I'll provide a link for you people to share that, right? So you should be editing in that same doc file every week, right? Apart from the notebook which you'll be maintaining, right? You'll also be maintaining a Google Doc in which you will like enter the details like circuit diagram which is simulated in multisim and the waveforms which is obtained, right? You will update it there, right? So any if you don't have any other doubt, right, I think we'll move on to the quiz session. Again, today's quiz will be conducted in quizzes, right? So what I'll do is I'll just share the tab now. Whether my tab is visible, quizzes tab is visible, right? So all of you have to go to quizzes and enter the code 240468, or else I can give the joining link here, right? I have pasted the link to join in chat box. You can click that and you can join. Right, yeah. So in this quiz, I've tried to include some common mistakes and the solutions which students used to make, right? If yeah, all of you please join fast, right? Right now, I think we'll start the quiz. Shall we start the quiz? Yeah. Yeah, so now we'll start the quiz. Right, we'll start the quiz now. Right, the first question is in ASK generator, if NPN transistor is used instead of PNP transistor, what will happen? That is the question, right? In ASK generator, if NPN transistor is used instead of PNP transistor, what will happen? Like, please read the options carefully and please enter your answer. Right, so we have almost 67 participants. Uh, Giving the answer. Maybe I'll wait for another, say, 10 seconds. Right. So I've given ample time for all the questions. Right. So that once all are answered, I'll be what? Right. We have 98 out of 110 joined. Note 1. Right. So 105. Yes. It's 107. So yeah, I think I'll end this question like right. So let's see the statistics. Right. Right. So the correct answer is a carrier pulse will be transmitted for um, right. Actually, this question itself is wrong. Right. It should have been a carrier pulse will be transmitted for negative half cycle instead of positive half cycle. So I have marked the I have given a wrong answer. So the question itself is wrong. So I will right. So the what will happen instead of PNP if we connect NPN? That NPN will be on for positive half cycle. So for positive half cycle, the output will be off, and for negative half cycle, output will be on. So instead of actually what negative, I have typed positive here. So this question, right, itself was wrong. So sorry from my side. Right. So we'll move on to the next question. Right. Right. So in envelope detector, charging time of the capacitor will depend on. Right. So what will happen on which parameter the charging time of the capacitor will depend. Yeah, we have 98 students joining and giving answer to this. Right. So I request others also to give answer very fast so that we can see the result and move on to the next question. So another 5 seconds I'll give. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think I'll end this question. Right. So the correct answer is forward resistance of diode and C value. So if you remember the circuit, the diode charges through the capacitor charges through the diode and the capacitor only. Like there is no other resistor. So it will depend upon the forward resistor of the diode and C value of the filter. Only capacitor value of the filter. So while choosing the capacitor, actually we should keep this criteria in mind, right? While choosing the capacitance value, we should like the charging like time of the capacitor will depend on C mainly, like why? Because the diode resistor, it's fixed and we can't change it, right? So maybe we need to adjust this charging as a capacitor value to set this charging time. And what should be the charging time? The charging time should be uh, very less compared to the frequency of carrier, right? So if you see, the charging time should be very less compared to the frequency of to the compared to the time period of the carrier, not frequency. The charging time should be very less compared to the time period of the carrier, so that it charges fast, right? Okay, so now we'll move on to the next question. 29 have given correct answer to this. So in envelope detector, the discharging time constant RC should be, right? The discharging time constant RC should be. Please read the options carefully. The options are confusing, right? So based on what we should, this is actually what this question tells you how to design this RC filter. So maybe I'll wait another 15 seconds. After that, I'll end this question. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'll end this question. Right. Already 105 I've turned in. So now, what should be the answer, right? Based on what that RC should be. So it should be the correct answer is greater than carrier time period, but less than message time period, right? So 42 of you have given correct answer, right? So if you remember, right, the capacitor should charge and discharge, right? But discharge should be slow, right? The discharging of capacitor should be slow compared to the carrier time period, right? So the RC time constant should be greater than carrier time period, but the discharging should be fast compared to what message time period. If the capacitor is charged and if it is not discharging even after actually what the message signal is changing to from positive to negative, that is not desirable. So the answer is greater than carrier time period, but less than the message time period or bit duration. That is the correct answer. So 42 of you have given correct answer. Right. We'll move on to the next question. Yeah, if anyone has anything to ask or right, yeah. So okay, now the question is if the polarity of diode in envelope detector is interchanged while maintaining everything else the same. So now what we have done is the polarity of diode is changed. Instead of P and then anode and cathode, we have reversed, right? So then what will happen? That is the question. So I request everyone to keep these questions in mind, and while you people are simulating, try out with these and find out whether right. So these are the common mistakes which students used to make while they are doing this experiment in lab, right? So I'll share this experiment with one of you, maybe with CR I'll share, right? So that CR can share it with everyone else and you can play around with this. So I'll give only 10 more seconds to this question. I'll start counting, maybe 15 seconds I'll give. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So I'll just stop this question. Right. So the correct answer is the demodulator output will be at minus Vsat irrespective of the potentiometer value. Just imagine if the polarity of diode is reversed, it will allow only negative half cycle. So the capacitor will charge to negative, right? So always the non-inverting terminal will be at negative, whereas at inverting terminal, our reference value can range maximum from 0 to a maximum value, right? It will always be positive or 0. But if we reverse the diode, what will happen is the non-inverting terminal will always be negative, right? So when non-inverting terminal is less compared to inverting terminal, we'll always get minus Vsat, right? So that is one common mistake students used to make, that P and N will be what? Interchanged, right? So then when observing, the output will always be at plus Vsat, right? So if that is the case, maybe this is how you can like rectify it, right? So while playing around with the circuit, I request everyone to try out all these things, right? So I've included some common mistakes which students used to make in lab, right, in this quiz. So and most of them have answered ASK demodulated output will have exactly opposite polarity. That is wrong, right? That is the one we'll think even if the polarity of diode is changed, we'll get opposite polarity signal. It's false. It's a misconception, right? And this is true, right? So now we'll move on to the next question and the last question. Right. Now, if inverting and non-inverting terminals of the op-amp comparator is interchanged while maintaining everything else the same, then what will happen? That is the question. Right, when I mean everything else is same, then again actually what you can perform the experiment, you can set the vary the potentiometer value till you get the output. All those things can be done, right? So if you interchange plus and minus terminals of the op-amp comparator, right, what will happen? That is the question. That is the last question, right? Yeah, I'll give another 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Yeah, so I'm going to end this question. Right. So let's see the statistics and then answer. Already actually the option while typing, I made a mistake in typing the option of first question, right? So most of you might have made a mistake there, but it's okay, right? So yeah, so in this, most of you have given correct answer. ASK demodulated output will have exactly opposite polarity. Of course, only difference is now we'll be giving envelope detector output to inverting terminal and reference will be given to positive, right? So when positive is less than negative, we'll get actually what? Negative. And when negative is less than positive, we'll get positive. Right. So that polarity will be reversed. That's it. Right. So that's about today's actually what quiz. So we'll end the quiz. Right. Right. Now all of yeah. Please.
You had mentioned that in the second question, you had said that it's resistance of the diode and the capacitor, but in the third question, for the envelope detector, it's mentioned as RC time constant.
RC time. Why? Because discharging will happen through that resistor, what is there in the filter, right? So that's why I mentioned like that. Is it clear?
No, like I was asking because RC time constant.
Yeah.
That means it is the charging time should be resistor and capacitor, right? How will it be of the forward resistance of the diode?
No, that is so sorry. It should be actually what discharging. It would have been discharging time constant, right? Right.
Okay.
Right. So I meant to say like while discharging. So the question maybe while I made some mistake in typing the question. Right. I meant to ask the time constant while discharging. Right. Did I mention charging time constant?
I'm not sure.
I meant if I mentioned that, please excuse. Right. I meant to mention the time constant while discharging, right? So please excuse, right? And as I told, why I have included these questions is to make you people aware. These are the common mistakes which you people will make while conducting this experiment in lab, right? And I think these questions will help you to what debug your circuit, right? So if I have made some mistake, kindly excuse. In first question while typing, actually what the option I made a mistake, right? So yeah, so now we have, do you want to know who are the winners, or we'll just leave it as such? You want to see the winner? Like, yeah, so Shashank has typed RC time constant of the envelope detector, right? That's not like, yeah, so why I have mentioned that is, right? So I hope it's clear. While charging, it will charge through diode and this capacitor, but while discharging, right, this R and C of the filter I have considered, right? Maybe I should have phrased the question wrong, right? Right. So that's what is meant, right? So what I meant is R and C values of this filter, right? So while discharging, this R and C values only will be giving you actually what RC time constant, right? So that's why, right? I hope it would be okay, right? What happened? Like, yeah. So now maybe today's quiz, right? Maybe we'll not announce winners. Why? Because I made some one mistake in question, so it will affect the statistics, but not a problem. But I hope the questions which are asked will definitely help you in say debugging of the circuit, right? So I'll stop it here. If you have any doubt or any questions or anything else to add, please feel free to add, right? So maybe like, yeah, if you can. Yeah, anything is there? So okay, we do have Jennifer ma'am and Vijay Lakshmi ma'am here, right? Ma'ams, you want and Shama ma'am also, I think, right? So want to add anything, ma'am? Any insights you want to add? Chaitanya, today's quiz is graded. Okay, I can grade it. What I'll do is I can give. I'll consider it for grade. I'll give full mark for the first question as I made a mistake in typing, right? And other part I'll be consider for grading, right? And maybe I can post another quiz as an assignment, so that I'll consider that in Canvas. That also is possible, right? So maybe instead of considering this quiz, I'll post another quiz on quizzes only as assignment, right? And I'll consider that for grading. So, and anything, if you have to add anything else, right? So in between, I'm really sorry, actually Multisim Live stopped working, right? So I don't know how it happened, right? Maybe I'll just try. I don't know whether I have changed some settings in bit. No, it didn't. I didn't change. Like, maybe I'll rectify it and get back to you people. And if you have anything else, if you don't have anything else, we'll wind up the session, right? I hope everything is fine. Okay, thank you everyone. Right, thank you so much for joining. While in next lab we'll be doing FSK, right? And I'll post the video of FSK in Canvas, and similarly, this FSK simulation will be done by Shama ma'am, right? So thank you so much for joining, right?